We're back. Yeah, we're trying. We restarted the computer. As of the startup, we were at 15% CPU. I opened up OBS. It was at 30. I opened up Spotify. It was at 33. And now that I've got LD Player open, it's at 100. So it's not boding well. There's a chance I could do with a fresh reinstall of LD Player, but I don't have the time for that. We're gonna try to load in and see what happens. But yeah, we're still sitting at 100. Better than church, cocaine fucking works, booze digging up dirt, skeletons in my merch. Tell me what your soul's worth. Do you think you own yours when the liquor don't work and the scars still hurt? Everyone's going. Yeah, it's still pretty rough on the CPU side. I don't understand how. Wait. Hold on. Is the LD Player always 32-bit? I have a 64-bit system. Hold on, let me try something. We're in 30. I don't. Hold on. I don't know why we're in 32-bit mode. We also had a high frame rate thing on. Swapping it back. I swapped it back to 60 frames. But I think we're still in 32-bit, which is weird. I have a 64-bit system. We're on all recommended situations. See what happens. What's up? Hi, I'm Zero. We're having trouble staying alive as far as the stream goes. But if this fails, we'll just move to Frosted Features. We'll record that and call it a day. Ugh. I think next week I'm gonna. I think I have the ability. I'm gonna see. I think we're gonna try to swap to a two computer stream setup again. I think it'll work. I'll definitely have to play with it. It still says 100. Hold on, before I could commit, I have one other thing I want to try. Okay. Alright, well, I use the multi-manager and try to start a 64-bit version. It still says 32-bit on Task Manager, so we'll just see. Let's see what happens. If we can't load this one, we're just gonna go to Frosty Features. Always a pain inside my brain and
We've been freezing at 12%. Yeah, we froze. Alright, we're gonna do Frosty Features and raid out. This is dumb. I'll try to fix it for next week. Yeah, it's not even like going through, just loading my freaking slideshow. I'm also just curious to what extent maybe it's the OBS doing something. I just updated OBS today, so maybe that's a line. Okay, and then notes out. Sorry, I'm just checking something. I was testing something. I don't know. Okay. So, all right, we're gonna do this then. It's been a minute. What is up, guys? Frosty Aussie here today for another Frosty Features. I apologize for how long it has been since I've done another one, and I am so far behind that I'm still only finishing Vigilante, and we're currently in the MCU Fantastic Four team release, so I very much apologize at how behind I am. We're gonna work to this is us working towards moving forward. So this is our final member of the Vigilante team, Hitmonkey. If you haven't been to one of these before, what this is a comic book background on the tunes that you use in Marvel Strike Force, and I am your guide through the pages past. So, to start off, we are looking at, according to Scopely, what this normally is a blog post description of the character that gives it a little bit of background. The entire Vigilante team went without a background. So Hitmonkey was no different. So I went to the Marvel Strike Force website, and if you go to character, this is the character description it gives, which says he's a monkey. Also, he's an assassin. It pretty much there in the name. So that's we're going to call that the description of the character that Scopely has given us. And we will rate it at the end of the feature in place of the blog post description that usually actually has some history. So there we are. This is him, Hitmonkey. Name, Hitmonkey. His name's actually unknown or ungiven. He is a macaque. He's actually a monkey. He's not a person that was turned into a monkey. He's not mystic in any way that allows him to talk. He is actually just a monkey. So he has no name. He's a wild monkey. He's not tame in any way. He was inadvertently trained, and we'll talk about that a little bit. So debatably, he doesn't have a name, but he is known here and forever known as Hip Monkey. So we are going to say, for the sake of argument, that his name is also that. First appearance, Hip Monkey number 1, 2010. His first appearance is in a Hip Monkey one-shot that explains his origin, which was a Marvel property. Powers and abilities. He doesn't have any. I don't have anything there because he doesn't have any. He's a monkey. He has monkey physiology, and that's it. He is just a monkey. And actually, that's gonna bother me if I don't correct it. I don't know why I didn't put it. Powers and abilities. None. He's a monkey. He's just a monkey. He has monkey physiology. He's legitimately I would argue a pretty smart macaque type of monkey. So there's that. He's a smart macaque. Alias is Hitman Monkey. So if he's not Hit Monkey, he's known as Hitman Monkey. Affiliations: Shield, Howling Commandos, and Mercs for Money. He just sort of shows up, right? And we'll talk about this is one of the Frosty features in which we will cover all of the comics that I'm aware of that exist. So we'll talk about his time with Shield, Howling Commandos, and the Mercs for Money at least a little bit throughout this feature. But yes, he has 3 different affiliations somehow. Once again, monkey. Background: he's from Honshu, Japan, and he's a macaque monkey. He is born into a clan of monkeys, just a family of monkeys. And he's in the jungle being a monkey. Who died? Mentor and family. So, he has no name, as we previously stated. His mentor, there's a reason why he learned how to fight. I keep saying he's just a monkey. Is he a magic monkey? Is he a scientific experiment? No, he's a monkey that learned to fight by watching somebody else practice martial arts. And we'll talk about it in his origin story. But because of this man practicing martial arts, not only does he learn how to fight, etc., his mentor, spoiler alert, and his entire family are killed by a bunch of assassins, which leads the monkey to being Hit Monkey, right? So he can't be superhero without somebody dying. In Hit Monkey's case, a lot of people died for him to get where he needed to go. Ghost mentor. So Hit Monkey sees his mentor, who is Kieran known as I wrote it down too. He doesn't have a name either. He is just Assassin or Hit Monkey's. If you Google him, he's Hit Monkey's mentor is his name. But he's a master assassin that is killed, and Hit Monkey sees a ghost that tells him what to do. So not only is he a monkey, he's a crazy monkey. Because also in canon, the ghost mentor isn't real. It's just part of Hit Monkey's subconscious that tells him what to do, which also somehow allows him to be able to read, which allows him to be able to interpret. He's almost an empath in some kind of way, but it's very undescribed. But it does allow him to move forward in his schemes and things. It'll make a little bit more sense when we get to notable events, but that's the thing. So Hit Monkey is followed around by a ghost that doesn't exist. Struggles ethically. Hit Monkey has not inbred, inherent ethics built into him. and it's a huge part of his character. So we see, and also Hitmonkey doesn't talk, right? So most of Hitmonkey stories are told through narration. So his feelings are described by narrator. The only person that talks is Ghost, is Hitmonkey's mentor, the Ghost, his ghost mentor, the Master Assassin, whatever. Um, uh, so what we find out is that if Hitmonkey injures or kills somebody innocent, he takes that to heart really, really, really heavily, and it affects his character heavily. So he struggles ethically, and actually he gets into this entire mess because he is a monkey that has, like I said, some sort of empathic thing that is undescribed, and also he's afraid of what those ramifications are, right? So either empath power monkey or super smart monkey that super smart feeds these ethics. It's hard to tell because there's no actual explanation for it, but ultimately he's a monkey that is built to monkeys, but he's built different. I think I said built and I meant to say born. Relationships. Usually I list out a bunch of people here, but he doesn't have a name and neither does anybody he knows. So he has a family of macaque monkeys. They're dead. Hitmonkey's mentor. He's the mentor. Dead. Right? So he has, outside of that, he does not have he does not have relationships. Right? People have feelings towards Hitmonkey, right? There's thing where Negasonic Teenage Warhead thinks he's cute, likes the monkey. Spider-Man and Deadpool have sort of a relationship with him, but it's pretty negative. And it's not mutually reciprocated, right? He doesn't have friends. He's just sort of around. And it's only, I think, maybe he feels for people, but it's not informed by words, right? This is where I get off saying he's an empath. It's super complicated and weird, but he's tough. So in the chat, somebody said I could see why it took so long to do this one. There's a lot of mentioning of just a monkey. It must have had tough script to write. Hold on. This is where we have the information. Notable events. Origin. Let's talk about the origin of Hitmonkey because it's freaking weird. Okay? So, a master assassin was put on to a coup by this guy that is General Kato. And when the master assassin fails at this coup, everybody turns on him and it ends up being a setup. He flees, right? So everybody's gonna try to kill him or whatever, but this master assassin is so mega like awesome that everybody comes, he gets a big bounty put on his head, and or he doesn't get a bounty put on his head. Everyone is ordered to kill him, and he's like, nah, you're not gonna be able to kill me, Trick. It's not gonna happen. And so he literally tries to pay off people that come to try to kill him, and it doesn't work eventually, and they attack him anyway, and he kills everybody, right? He aces them all. He's the baddest dude this side of the thing. And eventually, though, with all of this running, he gets injured. So when he gets injured, he goes into the outskirts of Japan, where he runs into, he passes out and he wakes up and he is saved by this family of monkeys. It's a bunch of macaque monkeys, and all of them are trying to feed him and trying to help nurse him back to health, except one monkey. One monkey is like, that guy's no good, right? They can't talk to each other. That's going to be a big plot point here moving forward. But one monkey's like, that guy is going to get us all killed, I think, right? That's what he's thinking. All of the monkeys around him are just like, that monkey's being irrational. I don't know what's going on. We can't talk to each other, right? So they're like, screw that monkey. We're gonna heal this guy. So as the guy is the master assassin who as he is healing, he starts to try. He vows to put his guns down. He's not doing things anymore with the guns, but he's trying to train himself so that he can still physically defend himself. So as he is healing, he builds a bunch of snowmen, and with these snowmen, he is practicing martial arts. From this, the monkey that hates him keeps watching him to make sure that whatever is going to happen, he's trying to protect his family, right? So in doing so, he watches him for hours and hours and hours, days, whatever, throughout his recovery process, and he watches him and learns the martial arts, right? So he's watching, he's like, wait, I could do these. So when the guy's not practicing on snowmen, this monkey is making snowmen and practicing martial arts on these snowmen, presumably to be able to protect his family, right? So as we move forward, the assassin, even though he's been recovering whatever, he gets sick, we're out in the snow, etc. He's just living with monkeys, filth, he gets sick. So things aren't going super swell for him. And eventually this monkey that hates this guy goes to all these other monkeys and he's like, hey, other monkeys. I'm gonna pause for a second. Bendy, thank you so much for the raid. I really appreciate you, brother. Peekaboo, hello. Raiding with 59 people. I really appreciate you. Shout out at Bendable Straws. We're doing Hit Monkey feature. My game's not working, so we're doing a Hit Monkey feature and piecing out. So we're currently working on, for those of you who haven't seen this before, if you're coming in, I do comic book backgrounds on characters. I was out of town for a month, so I got behind. So this is the last vigilante character. So that's pretty bad, but yeah, so we're talking about the origin of Hit Monkey right now. So yeah, if you like comic book lore, drop a follow. Or I usually play Marvel Strike Force, but for some reason the game's not working for me anymore today. So there's that. Anyway, cool. So we're gonna get back to it. All right, what was I talking about? Okay, yes, okay. So one of these days, Hit Monkey, the monkey to become Hit Monkey soon, decides to tell his family of all just monkeys like him, and he's like, hey, this dude's bad. I'm gonna show you, right? But he can't talk, and monkeys can't talk, so that's not what happens. So what he does is he tries to body language his way through saying, hey, this guy does all these martial moves and they're dangerous. I'm going to show you by kicking the crap out of all of you. So this monkey beats the crap out of all the other monkeys to show that he was taught this martial arts thing, and it's bad and unhealthy, and that's why that guy's gonna get the family killed. Everybody, all the other monkeys, they're not people, right? It's not everybody else. All the other monkeys are like, what the heck, guy? I was really enjoying not having the crap kicked out of me, and yet here we are now, and the crap is kicked out of me. You're out. You're outie 5,000, brother. And so they banish. All the other monkeys are like, why the heck did you kick the crap out of us? Leave, right? So this monkey leaves, and he's going through the forest, and he's banished, and he's like, I was trying to prove a point, but I can't talk, right? This is how complicated it is to explain Hit Monkey stories until we get Deadpool in the mix, oddly enough. The guy who normally makes things complicated makes Hit Monkey much easier, but right now we don't have him. So he's in the forest, and he sees a bunch of assassins coming, and he knows, because for some reason he's a super smart monkey. He's like, hey, these guys are here for the other guy. I need to go back to my family and let them know, even though they hate me. And in going back to his family, he sees that the assassins have cornered the other assassin, and they've got him surrounded. Shoot, 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 bang, 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 bang. He gets gravely injured. And then he goes to warn his family, and turns out the assassins got there first, and they just killed all the monkeys. So the monkey that hated the master assassin at this point is the only one alive, and now he's super mad, right? All his family's dead. He's alone. He was banished. All these assassins that he knew were going to come and hurt people came and hurt monkeys, and now he's pissed, right? So he goes back to where he thinks the assassin's body is, and the master assassin is still alive, and he goes and he grabs his blood-stained duffel bag full of guns, and the master assassin is like, yo, once you pick up a gun, you're never going to put it down. And he's like, I'm about to pick up this gun. So then this monkey, right? He's just a monkey still, right? He goes and he picks up the guns, and then he kills every single one of the assassins that came and killed the master assassin and his family, right? Using the martial arts that he learned by proxy, and then he can use guns too, because comics. So he kills all the assassins, and then the legend of Hit Monkey begins, right? So now he's out for vengeance, and he wants to. We don't know at this time that he's possessed by a ghost, or the ghost has followed him, right? In this comic, it's just like, oh yeah, he's now gonna he's gonna track down the rest of this gang and kill them all to get revenge for his family. That's how Hit Monkey, the origin of Hit Monkey, starts. He doesn't have a suit. Okay? So from this, he tracks down what is his name? Hideki Hayashi. He tracks down this guy, Hideki Hayashi, which is one of the higher ups in the gang. And at this point, he finds, we're out of the one shot, we're into a 3-part series where he runs into, it shows Hit Monkey. He's got guns, no clothes still, but now we have Ghost Mentor. Ghost Mentor is the assassin, the master assassin that was killed, and he's the one that informs him that Hideki Hayashi is one of the main people in the gang. So he's going and tracking down Hideki Hayashi's men and starts killing them all, and slowly makes his way to Hideki and kills him. Okay, so he has worked his way through, and then General Kato, the one I brought up at the very beginning of this description, he's reading a newspaper because monkeys. What I assume is that the Ghost Mentor is reading it for him so he can read, but also, once again, spoiler alert, we're gonna find out that Ghost Mentor doesn't actually exist and it's just in his head. But anyway, Hit Monkey can read. And he's Hit Monkey now, so that's the name we can call him. So he can read. He reads that General Kato's daughter is going to have a wedding, so he's like, I've got an idea. I'm gonna go and infiltrate this wedding, and I'm gonna kill General Kato, and it's gonna make me feel so much better. So actually before this, he goes. That's how he meets the mentor. I skipped a part. He goes to find General Kato at first, and he finds General Kato's essentially receptionist, and he kills her. And then the ghost manifests and is like, hey, you just killed an innocent person. And then Hit Monkey's like, bad monkey, I killed an innocent person. I can't do this anymore. I had to let it go. And then the ghost kind of convinces him, hey, no, you can do this the right way, but you got to make sure you got to make sure who you're killing deserves it first. Like, you got to know what you're doing, which is how he kind of becomes more of a hitman, right? So through this, that's when we're reading the paper. We find out General Kato's daughter is getting married, so he's crashing this wedding, and so he goes to this wedding, and then he goes and he wants to fit in, so he goes and finds this toddler whose name is Little Junior, and Little Junior gives him his tuxedo. So this is how Hit Monkey gets a tuxedo. So he puts on the tuxedo, so it looks like there's a trained monkey that is a ring bearer. So and this is how he's getting close to the situation to kill. But lo and behold, he gets there, and General Kato has hired a very specific bodyguard, and this is Bullseye. So Bullseye was hired to be the bodyguard for this wedding, and not that Hit Monkey knows who Bullseye is, but I'm talking to you, my viewer. Hey, you should know who Bullseye is to some extent, right? So Bullseye is fooled and thinks that this is a tame monkey, whatever, and Hit Monkey is able to get close enough to General Kato and kill him, right? So this enrages Bullseye. So for anybody that knows Marvel lore, enraging Bullseye is not the move you want to do. So he starts killing all of Kato's bodyguards because he's so mad that the monkey tricked him and he doesn't know where the monkey is. So the monkey is fleeing, and in fleeing, he runs into Little Junior again. And Little Junior is like, you're such a good monkey. I love you. And Little Junior gives Hit Monkey a hug. And in giving him a hug, Bullseye found the monkey at the same time and threw a knife at the monkey to kill him, and instead kills Little Junior. This is another ethical situation where Hit Monkey finds himself in a situation where he's like, hey, another innocent was killed because of me. I don't need to fight for revenge. I need to fight to protect innocents like Little Junior. So then he fights Bullseye to a point where he is able to get away, and then he leaves to become the Hit Monkey of Legend, which is he becomes a hitman of hitmen at this point. Okay, so that's how you get Hit Monkey all the way up until where he gets his clothes, right? So, but he doesn't have the sunglasses. Sunglasses just randomly appear when he's in the Howling Commandos, I'm pretty sure. But so from here, Hit Monkey goes to New York City and he's via hunting hitmen from his ghost buddy, right? So in doing this, we have a situation where Spider-Man discovers, now we're talking about Spider-Man all of a sudden. In New York City, Spider-Man walks into one of his favorite convenience stores, and Mr. Chang is shot along with a bunch of armed men behind him. And we find out that Mr. Chang, one of the convenience stores owners that Spider-Man frequented and liked, was actually a front arms dealer. And he was murdered in a very brutal way, and it looks like in a hit fashion. And so Spider-Man is like, this was probably Deadpool. So he goes and tracks down Deadpool, and he apprehends him like he does because it's Deadpool. And he's got him all webbed up, and he's like, hey there, Deadpool, did you kill Chang? And he's like, no, but Chang was a bad guy. And so they decide that they're going to work together to investigate and find out what happened to Chang and the arms dealers that are in there, who killed them. And in doing so, they find hair of monkey, right? And so then Deadpool reveals to Spider-Man there is a legend, a myth among other hitmen, and it is that there is a monkey that goes around, and he's the best hitman there is. This monkey. So what they end up doing, I'm gonna double check my notes real quick. Convenience store, Deadpool team up, investigate, myth, group killing. Oh, that's right. So Deadpool reveals that that there's supposedly a monkey that goes around and makes these hits, but he's never caught. So eventually 3 cops are murdered, and that tips off Spider-Man and Deadpool because they're murdered in a super brutal way, and it looks like a hit. They go and check it out, and in doing so, they find a bloody monkey print in on the floor or whatever, and that tips them off. Oh, the monkey's real. It's an actual thing. And then all of a sudden, the monkey jumps out of the rafters. They deduce at that point that Deadpool's next, and then the monkey jumps out of the rafters and starts attacking Deadpool. The monkey does not know that Deadpool has the healing factor, but he's attacking both Deadpool and Spider-Man, and in doing so, he injures Spider-Man by shooting him with a bullet, and he absolutely and utterly eviscerates Deadpool, shooting, whatever. It doesn't really matter. It's Deadpool, right? So then the monkey leaves, and he's not feeling super hot about the Spider-Man situation. So what they do is Deadpool and Spider-Man come up. Spider-Man lives, by the way, because this is going to be important. They decide to make it a big deal about how Spider-Man's a good guy, whatever. Deadpool's going to put on the Spider-Man costume and in public die. So he's going to injure himself worse, die in front of everybody, and then they're going to do a fake funeral to lure in Hit Monkey because he feels bad about the death of Spider-Man. So at Spider-Man's funeral, Hit Monkey does in fact show up, and they work to apprehend him, and they are able, they kind of battle him to a stalemate to a point, but then an explosion happens and Hit Monkey runs away. And so in running away, he recognizes that he shouldn't necessarily be a hitman, but he needs to find a way to be able to protect people, and this ends up leading him to joining S.H.I.E.L.D. And what you find is he has in joining S.H.I.E.L.D., he ends up getting sent to the Howling Commandos, and from there gets sent to Deadpool's team, Merc for Money. So with Howling Commandos, he's battling supernatural threats, and this is when we all of a sudden see him show up with the sunglasses that you see him with. And then, I think in Marvel Strike Force he doesn't have the sunglasses, so this is pre that. But then he moves. So with that, he's doing that, and then S.H.I.E.L.D. moves him to Mercs for Money when Deadpool creates the team. And in moving him to Mercs for Money, in Mercs for Money, we have it's Deadpool. We've got Negasonic Teenage Warhead. Those are the 2 ones that stick off the top of my head the most. Dominoes on it. But they all dress up in Deadpool costumes. The important thing to note, he's sent there to keep an eye on Negasonic Teenage Warhead and Deadpool, and him and Deadpool have a very contentious relationship. Deadpool points out to him that because of his insanity, he can see the ghost that follows him around, and Deadpool's the one that says, "Hey, monkey, that ghost isn't real, it's just you." And then the ghost turns into just a ghost version of Hit Monkey, and he's like, "Oh my god, it is just my brain. what's going on, and that's mostly what we get of that. And so Hitmonkey, like I said, has this thing with Deadpool. So ultimately, you see him constantly when Deadpool says something, Hitmonkey will just shoot him in the head. So, joke, bang, right? And he'll shoot him. And what we find out later is that he has these tracer bullets, and he shoots them into Deadpool's head, and they don't stay in Deadpool's head because of his regenerative factor. So S.H.I.E.L.D. gave him a bunch, and he has to shoot Deadpool every so often so S.H.I.E.L.D. can keep tabs on where Deadpool is. It's genius, honestly. It's genius writing, and I love it. Yeah, that, and then the Howling Commandos, like I said, he was fighting supernatural threats as assigned by S.H.I.E.L.D. So he's just a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent that doesn't talk, and really at this point has no motivation other than to try to protect people. So it's kind of hard to follow. But as far as I'm aware, that's more or less the entire. There's obviously specific things. I didn't really talk about the Howling Commandos that much, but that's more or less everything that is Hitmonkey as of right now that I'm aware of. So there you go. That's all of Hitmonkey as of this recording date. Power level! Marvel Strike Force doesn't care about power levels, but here on Frosty Features we do. Now, the way that this works, if you are a multiversal threat, that means you can end all of reality, not just your reality, but hop on over to other people's realities and end that one as well. Not even hopping around, just toppling the multiverse at a whim. A universal is when you can hop around to different universes, etc., and topple them one by one, hopping between them. Cosmic means you have power equivalent to that of, something like a nuclear star, right? Being able to take out things like a planetary body all the way up to a solar system or a galaxy with enough time and effort. Nuclear means you have power equivalent to that of a nuclear bomb, leveling things like small towns up to the size of a small planetary body, once again, with enough time and effort. Super soldier means you are beyond all human capability, having super strength, super speed, super reflexes compared to that of a human being. Baseline here, obviously, is Captain America, being able to level things like a brick wall or a city block. City means you have strength, speed, etc., equivalent to that of a human being trained to the absolute and utter peak level of human performance. Think Olympic athletes. In Marvel, we have a lot of ninjas, mercenaries, etc. at this level. That's City. And then there's Greg. Greg is the undead Asgardian that is spawned by Hela in Marvel Strike Force. And left to his own devices, Greg is not very strong at all. Greg can't really do anything. So in the event that Greg was cleaning out a monkey cage at a zoo, and I showed up, and I was like, look at that nerd cleaning that monkey cage. And then I took a banana and I threw it at Greg. And Greg was like, I just realized there's some racial connotations here, but Greg's Asgardian and therefore Norse, so get your mind out of it. I'm gonna back that up. We're just gonna edit that whole thing out. All of that felt really charged when I was saying it, and I was just like, this sounds okay. I don't like any of the implications I was making, even though it was supposed to be in relation to Hitmonkey. We're gonna back that up. All right, let's do this again. Okay. We're not gonna be cleaning. I'm not throwing a banana. If you didn't know that the Greg fights were always improv, here's your clue. Let's see. Let's do... I wanted it monkey related because it's Hitmonkey. I always try to do that. I feel like we could still do the zoo. I just don't want anybody to be able to take it and twist it in a bad way, because I recognize that all of that together made it sound really charged. If he's cleaning out I just won't throw a banana. Throw a rock. No. What if I was cleaning out the monkey? That's better. Bling poo. Bling poo. No. That's the same implication I'm trying to avoid with the banana. Oh wait, no. I can fling poo. I got this. So, in the event that Greg is at at a zoo. I'm at a zoo and I'm cleaning out a monkey enclosure. And all of a sudden, I get hit in the back of the head with a banana to turn around to see Greg sitting on the viewer platform throwing bananas at me. So I take my shovel and I throw some monkey feces back at Greg, and all of a sudden he hops the barrier, and it is monkey cleaning cage me versus Greg he, and lo and behold, I, as a Frosty, a regular human being in every sense of the word, best him with my shovel and monkey feces. So therefore, Greg is equivalent to that of a regular human being. So with that, in the case of Hitmonkey, I find myself kind of conflicted. Hitmonkey has no reason to be as smart or empathic as he is, but he is. There's no explanation. There's nothing like that. But he's a monkey that he can quad wheel weapons if he wants to, right? Very often uses 3 weapons. He's faster than humans, not as strong as humans, but he is trained in a really crazy way. So I say that even though his strength is less than humans, his speed and reflexes match that of somebody much higher, debatably even super soldier status, especially being able to keep up with the likes of Spider-Man and Deadpool. But we have ultimately, if you're able to hit him, it's over. So I'm going to put him at city level. I feel like there's a really strong argument here for Super Soldier or even Greg. But there's not enough information really to back any of it up. So based on all the things that I have said today, I'm going to say that Hitmonkey is at a city level. According to Scopely, they obviously didn't even try. Once again, none of the Vigilante people had blog post descriptions, and what's there is funny, but he does have an interesting background as far as his family being killed, his mentor being killed, even though he hated his mentor, or the fact that he even has a ghost following him around. So I'm saying that Scopely didn't even try. The proof's in the pudding. The blog post description doesn't exist. So there it is. That was Frosty Features Hitmonkey. It's been a while. It was a little bit rocky compared to some of the other ones, but I hope that you all enjoyed it. I hope that you all had a good time. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe. It helps me out a lot. Also, currently I'm streaming to YouTube and Twitch, but also let's try to give me a follow on both. I'd really appreciate it. I hope that you all enjoyed this. I hope that you all have a fantastic weekend. Most importantly, all stay cool. Oh, I didn't even record that. I'm gonna have to pull that off my VOD. We're having a good day today, y'all. We're having a good day today. All right, let's see. Let's see. I'm assuming Sen is on. I thought I had Twitch. Okay, good. We're gonna raid. Bendy, thank you for the raid. We're gonna raid Sen. All right, we're gonna raid Sen Raven. Thank you all for sticking around. I know today was pretty rough. So I really appreciate you, everybody kind of hanging out with me for this amount of time, especially not being able to actually play the game, etc. So, I hope that you all have a great day. Why is my raid at 70 seconds? Holy crap. I'm vamping. I'm gonna go see Fantastic Four, I think sometime this week, as long as my work doesn't kill me. So that'll be cool. Get out. There's a lot of good movies out right now. Go see Superman. Go see Fantastic Four. Hit me up next week. I'll be here 8 a.m. Central Standard Time, where we do Frosty Features live. We'll do, I think we're working on Songbird next week, I think. We have 30 seconds to raid, so I don't know what that is. It's different because it's not on my computer. But yeah, so thank you all once again. I hope that you all have a fantastic week. And most importantly, this is where an ending screen would be good. Should make that 13 seconds. But, you know, give Sen all the love you gave me, and stay cool, my peeps. Stay cool. We're still here. Yeah. I turned off the wrong thing. This is going really well. Oh, did we raid? Did we raid? Hope we raid. Okay, we did. All right, we're ending this stream.